Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Thank you. Good morning. Supervisor Hickman, joining us remotely. He's right there.
I see him.
Supervisor Gates.
He's here. Sorry, he can hear you.
Nadia, do you know why
I can hear you.
he can't speak?
I'm not sure why. Oh, there.
Got it. Okay.
Thank
got
you.
It.
Thank you.
Here.
Supervisor Gates.
Here.
Supervisor Galvin, also joining us remotely.
Here.
Supervisor Gallardo.
Here.
Chairman Sellers.
Here. Okay. Agenda item number 1 is IGA with City of Buckeye for the use and management of General Joe Foss Shooting Complex at Buckeye Hills Regional Park. The board will now consider item number 1.
Mr. Chairman, I will go ahead and real quickly make a motion. Would like to thank our staff, Jen Pekorski, our Parks Department, everyone that was engaged in creating this type of an agreement. I know it was a long time coming. I think we heard from the folks out, particularly out in the West Valley, that utilize this facility. They wanted to be able to continue to utilize it, but I think we did the right course, the right path, shutting it down, making sure that it was safe, making sure we did all the assessments needed, and then entering into the discussion with the city of Buckeye. Turns out they would love to be able to utilize it not only for their law enforcement officers when they're training, but be able to, again, open it back up to the public, allow the public to have a place in which they can utilize and practice their firearm shooting. So thank you to everyone that was involved. I know this was a headache. I think we all got emails, right? I think we all got the emails and the phone calls. But I really do believe that, Mr. Chairman, that we did take the appropriate action. We took the right course. We heard from the public. They wanted it open. We're getting it open as we promised, but we did wanted to do all the assessments and the repairs that needed to be done. And then just having the partnership with Buckeye, I think, is an added plus. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm honored to make the motion to approve item 1.
Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo. Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo. We have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to second the motion and also corroborate, correspond to Supervisor Gallardo's statements, especially for the efforts of all the county and the county people that we're trying to get this facility back to square one, remediated with lead, everything that went through this, all the conversations that Jen's group had with the city of Buckeye. I specifically talked to the mayor of Buckeye, encouraging them, and I was very encouraged that they came right to it and said, "Hey, this is something good for the taxpayer, the Buckeye resident of unincorporated. We'll get it open again for public shooting." I think it would be. I probably will wait forever for an apology from some people that harassed our staff, namely R.J. Carden, for just trying to do the right thing. Business. I always love hearing that thing, government at the speed of business, but we're in government. And sometimes we have to take a more diligent approach, prudent, to be protective of the public, protective of the facility, protective of the taxpayer. So I very much happy that we're being able to tie this up at one of our last meetings together. I know it was important to the entire board and to you, Mr. Chairman. And Joe Foss will be that sparkling jewel out there in the middle of an area so people can not illegally shoot and put people in harm's way. So thank you for your efforts. And Jen, again, thank you for your efforts to bring this to fruition before we all leave.
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman, and certainly I got the impression that there were at least 3 districts that were impacted by this or interested in getting this resolved. So I particularly thank you and Supervisor Gallardo for your efforts on this, and very happy that we're finally getting to a positive conclusion. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries. Okay, moving to item number 2, and Supervisor Gates will recuse on both items 2 and 3.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Here.
Okay, item number 2, Community Solutions Funding for Arizona Board of Regents on behalf of Arizona State University. The board will now consider item number 2.
Mr. Chairman, I would move approval of item 2. Once again, want to thank our great staff here in Maricopa County on working on this. We were trying, I know all of us, NASU was trying to get this all tied up and completed for our last board meeting last week. Unable to meet the deadlines, but they worked real hard over the weekends and really being able to cross the T's and dot the I's. This is one of the programs from the District 5 Community Solutions, and it really is focusing on health-related issues, particularly out in South Phoenix. We saw it even during the COVID pandemic. There was, remember, public health would come and talk about the hot spots, the bright red spots where the pandemic really took a huge rage. Of course, it devastated the entire world, but there were some hot pockets out in South Phoenix. And this is something that is going to work to create a 5-year plan to be able to look at health disparities, look at what can be done from not only perhaps a public health perspective, but just from a healthcare perspective in South Phoenix. So this is a great partnership. A big thank you to ASU for stepping in and being part of that partnership. And so I'm looking forward to seeing the work they come up and the research they come up to be able to really look and see how we can better serve, particularly the South Phoenix area, from a public health stance. So, Mr. Chairman, I would make the motion to approve item 2.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor. We have a motion.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion passes. Item number 3, IGA with Arizona Board of Regents on behalf of Arizona State University. The board will now consider item 3.
Mr. Chairman, I would move approval of item number 3.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
And a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? That motion also carries. And I guess as we conclude the meeting, I would just like to express my thanks as well to our staff. We can get pretty demanding at times to meet our schedules on getting things done, and they are always there for us. I couldn't be more.
They get it done. They get it past the goal line in the end zone, and it's a touchdown for the people of Maricopa County.
So thank you very much. And thank you to Vice Chair Galvin and Supervisor Hickman for joining us. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for everything. Thank you.
Thank you.